proudest thing for me as a veteran is that I took an oath on my first day to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and I have done my best to do that in all walks of my life.
The power of the oath is that you speak from your heart. You verbally swear that you're going to follow the rules, the constitutions, and protect your country at all costs. And basically, your word is your bond.
To me, a hero is someone who stands for something that they'd be willing to fight for, someone who changes people's lives. These veterans were once 17. They were once people like me, who had hopes and dreams. But then when they went overseas, something happened to them.
1 minute, you're on the battlefield, and all you care about is repressing the enemy. And the next minute, you have your 7-year-old child saying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," every 5 minutes. The brain is still set up to fight.
Then you get thrown in a battle situation where everybody's trying to kill you. It just throws off your whole psyche. We're different because we've been through something different.
When a veteran can no longer wants to live because of what he's experienced in the service of his country, it's a tragic event. It happens today, it happened yesterday, and if we do not grab the bull by the horns, it'll happen tomorrow.
At CNS, we have an initiative program going right now to work with our veterans. We are in a unique position because we're taking what other programs are doing and putting it together to make a comprehensive program to help our veterans get back to being healthy and, more importantly, helping them feel productive in society.
They come back and they're dented and they're dinged up. A lot of the veterans that need help, they're in denial. They don't want to think that they need help.
I see a lot of that kind of shame that comes along with the TBI issue, and they kind of feel disconnected as if something happened to me, but I'm not able to find that place back.
Then you start feeling, what is wrong with me? And you know there's something wrong because every little thing upsets you.
When our men and women return home, they're asked to make the transition from being combatants, from being warriors, to being family members and employees. And that's a tremendously difficult transition. In fact, their brains are still brains of warriors.
As I've worked with the veterans that have been in our program, some of the things that I have found from the family members is that when they're coming back, they're not the same. You know, he gets mad at the kids. And then when I speak with the actual veteran, it's very frustrating for them because they believe that once their spouse or their parents stop believing in them, then there's no hope.
We need to do all we can to make these young men and women understand that what they did in the service does not mean they have to come home and lose their life here to something as foolish as taking their own life.
One of the things that I think we do very well at CNS, the Center for Neurological Studies, is to identify brain injury when it exists and to differentiate it from the non-organic or the psychological causes of these symptoms.
You would think that in the modern marvels of medicine these days that you should be able to just give them a test and be able to identify what the deficits are. You can't do that with TBI.
So when I hear the veteran tell me about how he responds to his 7-year-old who makes continual demands by saying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," my feeling is I need to change that dynamic. I need to help him come to a place where he doesn't see this as a demand, where he doesn't, in a sense, see his 7-year-old as the enemy.
What I have found out through speaking with some of our therapists, one of the veterans said, "I'm not crazy." He almost broke down in tears when he saw the psychologist and went through the neurodiagnostic. He stopped, got up, called his wife, and he said, "Hey, they know exactly what's wrong with me." When Dr. Benson looks at an MRI, he's looking for several objectives in the MRI. He's looking for pathology, so he's looking for tumors, lesions. He's also looking for hemorrhaging. And then also he's looking at if there's any axonal injury. And those axonal injuries are the neurons that talk together. And that's why we use an EEG, because the EEG records the neurons talking to each other. And if we can correlate those two, then we can accurately diagnose and tell the therapist to say, this is the area that you need to work on for this individual or for this veteran. And when you can visually see it on a screen, it makes a big difference.
Regardless of the patient, whether it's a former NFL player or it's the men and women returning from theater, we're considering the whole person. We're trying to understand what's gone wrong with the whole person. We're deploying all of the diagnostic technology, my training and expertise and experience to make an accurate diagnosis.
And we try to help rewire that brain to fit back in society through neuroplasticity. But it starts with innovation, and then diagnostic, and then the hope. That's what we try to bring them. Hope, not only for them, but for their family members, for the community.
I'm a board member of CNS because what they're doing to help soldiers, help veterans, that's an important thing. And for me, it looks to be the most important thing that I've done in my life in terms of a career to do this.
All the veterans have one thing in common. They served this nation, fought for the freedom of our fellow Americans, and we've all come home. Some with different baggage that was given to us in the course of our battles and our service for this great nation. It is the duty of every American to help take care of those veterans. We're quick to send them off and slow to bring them home, and even slower to take care of them.
My message to the people who can make a difference in the lives of our returning veterans is do it. They deserve it. They deserve your help because they put their life on the line for you.
So we've got to reach out to every veteran and make sure they're welcome home and let everybody know where they can go out and find help so no veterans fall through the cracks.
It's an obligation that we have. To not do it would be a crime.
It's heart-wrenching. We need to be helping these people. We need to be supporting them in ways that should be exceeding our expectations. I may not have served overseas, but I can serve this way as an American.
As the recent past state commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, you, the citizen, need to be ever vigilant. It is your responsibility to demand that folks that took care of you, and that would be the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guardsmen that served this great nation. They are now your responsibility as citizens of the United States of America.